Welcome to Career Evolution. My name's Will Martin, and on this podcast, we will discuss evolving careers in the context of today's society. First up, journalism with David Griffith, editor-in-chief of the Queen's Chronicle. David's going to share with us about the challenges he has faced as a student journalist here at Queen's University of Charlotte, and the challenges that all student papers at universities across the country are facing today. Imagine this. You are pursuing your passion, putting in countless unpaid hours per week. Your passion is all about serving your peers and adding some value to their lives. However, imagine doing all this for something that no one seems to recognize or care about. This is the dilemma facing student journalists today at universities all across the country. My name is Will Martin, and I'm here with David Griffith, editor-in-chief of the Queen's Chronicle, to discuss this very issue, all the challenges facing student journalists at universities across the country. David, thanks for being here.
The pleasure's all mine. Thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah. So just to get us started, tell me briefly about yourself, how you came to be at Queen's, and tell me a little bit about what you do at the Chronicle.
Yeah, so my name is David Griffith. I am a sophomore here at Queen's. I am the editor-in-chief of the student newspaper that is called the Queen's Chronicle. I am one of the members of the Board of Student Media. And I suppose I came to Queen's looking to pursue journalism. I knew I wanted to do that before I even got to college, and I was looking at schools in the South. Queen's just kind of snuck up on me, and I really liked it here. When I got here, I found it didn't have like a proper journalism major, but it had multimedia storytelling. It had the communications major, so it worked out in a way that I could learn this umbrella aspect of the journalism field, which I feel was a lot better than learning something too specific and then being unprepared for an online format or using apps or anything like that.
Definitely. So on this note, let's just talk about some of these issues that are facing journalists, because I think it is a general trend around the country that journalism as a whole seems to be struggling in certain areas, and especially student journalism. So tell me about some of the challenges that student journalists across the country are facing, and some of the challenges that you're facing personally here at Queen's as editor of the Queen's Chronicle.
Sure. So student media is suffering from a collapse of readership, a collapse of interest, and a collapse of funding. And this is caused, I think, I would personally say, by overarching issues affecting the journalism industry. Right now, journalism has become very politicized. It's being spun as the people versus the media. Is the media telling the truth? Is it not telling the truth? You read an article and you can't just get the news in where you have to say, well, what is this saying and what is somebody else saying? How much can I trust what is here on this screen or here on this paper? So people, rather than put up with all of that, just don't read the news. They get the news from the sources they want to get it from, and that hurts the smaller outlets. That hurts the ability for multiple ideas to be shared. That hurts the ability to discover new aspects of a situation, new points of view. It hurts the ability for people to hold diverse viewpoints because they find their one outlet and they stick with it rather than try and find 20 different sources. It's easier in a sense.
Absolutely. So since people do find that one outlet that they get their news from, do you find it difficult to get people to go to the Queen's Chronicle for their news rather than other sources?
Yeah, I would definitely say I do. Just that we are so small and we're a student paper, I think student papers as a whole suffer from that problem that you lack credibility as a student paper. We're not professionals, we're students here trying to go around campus and talk about teachers, talk about events on campus, but we don't have the training. We're usually not paid, especially like here on Queen's, we're not paid. And that makes it really hard for the journalists themselves to be able to put in the proper time when you're doing this as an extracurricular on top of all your homework, your sports teams, your clubs. So then people read the articles and they're like, well, this is written from a very amateurish standpoint. And unless it's about a topic that specifically pertains to them, they're not just going to read the Queen's Chronicle because they're interested in what the Queen's Chronicle has to say. Now, for specific information about Queen's, that is where we shine best because there isn't anybody else competing with us for that news.
Absolutely. So you speak about not being paid. Do you feel like that is specifically a Queen's problem? Is that a big school versus small school problem? Do you see a trend there?
So the lack of pay, the way student journalists can be paid can come from several different methods. The first is that the school pays the student journalist directly and owns the school newspapers. This is probably the best way to maintain your success and financial stability because you have a uncontested source of funding and you can just function as an extension of the school, much like another club or a recruitment program or something like that. Now, this is also dangerous because it hurts your integrity. You can't talk ill of the school if they're paying you. And that has actually been tested and proven to be the case in court historically. So, you're very much a PR branch of a college if you're funded by the college. Now, if you don't receive funding from the college, which the Queens Chronicle does not, you are independent, and we have free reign to talk about whatever we want about Queens. But we struggle to get funding from other sources. We could turn to advertisers, but that would be difficult already because we're so small. We're so small so people don't want to fund us, and because people don't fund us, we stay small. Big papers at bigger schools can work around this a bit. They can attract the interest and readership just enough to keep them functioning, keep it up and running. Because even if you get 1,000 students and that's 1/70th of the student population, 1,000 readers is still a pretty high number for a newspaper, especially an online-only student newspaper. Queens Chronicle gets a couple dozen, if even.
So putting you on the spot a little bit here, what would you rather have? Would you rather have being paid and being able to attract more manpower and hopefully being a little bit more professional, but maybe not being able to cover some of the topics you want to cover, or having that ethical advantage of being able to cover? Which one would you rather have if you were forced to choose?
I would definitely go with the ethical advantage. I know it's tough to not be paid. It's especially tough to recruit people to write for the Chronicle because I don't have much I can pitch to them. If you're not already interested in being a journalist, if you're not doing this for the resume build or just because you love writing for newspapers, you're not really going to write for the Chronicle. I can't pay you. You don't get school credits for this. And that definitely deters a lot of people. It's one of the reasons why our staff is so small. And even the staff we have they have to prioritize it below everything else they're doing. And that's understandable. But to lose that integrity and that independence from Queens could be catastrophic. If you look at political branches, outlets that have just completely scream in support of one political party and attack the other, they aren't taken very seriously. And I don't want the college version of that here on campus.
Absolutely. Very good answer on that.
Thank you.
So what are you doing with Queens Chronicle to counteract some of these negative trends we've been talking about? I know that correct me if I'm wrong, that the Chronicle is not in print. It's online only. You don't have a lot of manpower, don't have a lot of funding, have a lack of credibility and respect. So what strategies are you having to counteract some of that?
So I guess the best way to improve the credibility and respect is just write good articles. You put out good pieces, people will take you seriously, and those locked doors you can't get through initially, you might be able to get through later because people will say, oh, this guy had that groundbreaking piece earlier, I need to let him in, he might be onto something. And if they don't, because they don't want you to be onto something, somebody else will step in and say, no, he deserves to see it. For the manpower and the funding, manpower, just basic club recruiting techniques. The club and orgs fair every year. I'm trying to extend our online profile. Running a print issue is very expensive and impractical because you have to constrain the size. You need digital designers to format everything, and then it actually costs about $15,000, which is just way beyond even what SGA would be able to give us or anything like that. So we'll stay online. And that makes it easier for us to put out the quality pieces. And if we put out quality pieces and people read it, they might actually want to write for us. So I think basically it snowballs, and it all starts with making the articles we are putting out as high of a quality as we can.
Absolutely. So a bit of a hypothetical here. Just imagine that finances aren't an obstacle and you could have a print version. Would that be something you would go for, or would you prefer to be all online?
It's an ultimate goal of mine would be to get a print. I don't know if I'll actually be here to see that come into fruition. We used to have a print, and that was back when, I'm actually not sure where the funding came from because it was very expensive. I think SGA did give it to us, and then SGA kind of had to slash their funding in general so that they couldn't. $15,000 it's very impractical for even SGA to just be able to give that to one organization. So it's definitely something I want to do, because if you're walking through the dining hall and there's a student newspaper there just to pick up, people will pick it up, and that is definitely how you get the most readerships on a college campus, especially a small one. To get to that point, we just have to increase our image online. So right now, working on flyers, I got us into Q News finally. I've been working on that for a while. I would love to try and get our own email blasts, so I'm trying to reach out to Queens to do that. It's doubtful. That goes back to the whole, you need to get them to respect you before they give you allotments and exceptions. And really just building up to that would be the eventual goal. And maybe my successor is the one who finally sees that to fruition 4 to 5 years from now.
Absolutely. So just to wrap up a bit here, give me your final pitch about what's really great about the Chronicle, why people should write for it, why people should read it. What's your ultimate pitch on the Queens Chronicle?
The Queens Chronicle cares about the audience it is writing for. News, like anything, is a corporation. You work for CNN or New York Times, and they're just trying to put out the articles to get the readership, to get the clicks, I guess. You don't see your audience because there's so many of them. We know who we're writing for. I know the students on campus. When I'm writing about a club, I've met their leader, I've spoken with them, I've gotten lunch with them, and I know who's interested in that club. If you're writing an article about music, the music kids want to see that, and then they know you and you know them already. There's not this disconnect that it's just some face. You're not just reading some face when we write. So for the audience to see their peers writing about them and saying good things about them, that's what the students want. We're here our mission statement really is to be the voice of the students and be the voice of the campus community. We want to strengthen it and bridge some of the divides and really serve as this communication, this connection between all facets, faculty, students, even the cafeteria staff, anybody who has something they need to say. We want to be there to say it for them.
Absolutely. And if there's anyone out there listening that maybe is thinking about writing for a student newspaper or just took over as editor-in-chief of a struggling student newspaper, small or big school, from your experience going through that process, trying to build a paper back up to a respectable standard, what advice would you give them?
Don't be deterred. You're going to suffer setback after setback. You're going to suffer a lack of commitment from people around you. You might feel like you're on your own sometimes, but there are people out there who want to help you, and there are people out there who want to see you succeed, be it 2 other people on your campus, be it 100 other people on your campus. Find them, get their help. Never try and do it all on your own. Don't be deterred when you feel like you're on your own.
Absolutely. Well, from this, it seems like while there are a lot of challenges facing both the Queens Chronicle and journalism as a whole, it looks like the Chronicle's moving in a positive direction, and I think that can be taken as a positive for any student journalists out there. It doesn't seem the challenges facing student journalism don't seem to be a death knell for journalism.
Not at all.
More of an evolution.
Yes.
More of an evolution, and we have to keep evolving as we move towards a new modern society. So, David, I appreciate you taking the time.
Of course. Thank you so much.
So, that concludes our time with David Griffith, editor-in-chief of the Queens Chronicle. I appreciate him coming on the show and sharing his insights and experience in student journalism. It seems that journalism is alive and well in today's society. It merely has to evolve to meet modern expectations. Until next time, my name is Will Martin, and you're listening to Career Evolutions.